Order all your half-shell favorites for takeout or delivery. Visit www.halfshelloysterhouse.com to browse the familiar menu and place your delivery or takeout order in minutes. Same menu prices, just a $5 flat delivery fee every time at Half Shell Oyster House, located at 115 Laurel Park Cove, Suite 105, Flowood, Mississippi, 39232, or you can give us a call at 769-257-7586. And oh yeah, tell them Sonya sent you.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonya, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Please welcome legendary JSU Hall of Famer Sean Woodson and co-host of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab and the pregame show, Charles Bishop. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
How you doing, Sonya?
I'm doing well. This is Sean's first time on the show. This is what, Charles, you hadn't been on since audio, the old days. So this is your first time on the virtual. So welcome back. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I get to show off the beard game tonight, so I appreciate it.
I see you and the Black Santa in the back.
Santa Claus, he's a black man.
man.
There you go.
I used to love that when I was little. I called my daddy Santa Claus, but anyway, I'm sorry. So Sean, we're gonna get right into it. I'm not gonna try to hold you all day, but Sean, I always ask my guests, especially athletes, because I'm just curious to know, how did your love for football begin?
That's a great question. And I have to kind of think about that for a minute, because honestly, I think football really wasn't my first love. It blossomed over the years.
Okay.
Really and truly, at 5 years old, one of my favorite sports was basketball, honestly.
Wow.
I can remember getting a basketball goal and spending countless of times out there shooting. And somewhere along the way, I figured out if I wanted to go to school. I played football, basketball, and baseball in high school. And if I were going to get an opportunity to get a scholarship, it was going to be a football.
Lost you at you knew about the way you was going to get to school was through football.
Yeah. I mean, I have an equal love and passion for all sports. I enjoyed playing all three sports, but I knew if I was going to go to school, it was going to be football. And somewhere along the line, that fire just continued to grow. Honestly, in high school, I was probably a better baseball player than anything, but really? I saw the future was a little brighter in football, and that passion just began to grow, and it kept growing. And I just always had this desire to be the best in any and everything that I did. So that's how that kind of came about.
That's awesome. So it's amazing. Like, you went to Jim Hill. So
I did.
Before that, we had Barry Dixon, who also went to Jim Hill. He was a legendary player at Jim Hill, as well as he was a track star.
Right.
And he didn't play basketball, did he? I can't remember.
I'm not sure.
I don't think he did. But did you you knew about Barry before you went to Jim Hill, and did you know about his legend?
I really didn't. I had the pleasure of going to school with Barry's sister.
Okay.
Quintina, we called her Renee, and I learned of Barry then. And I knew actually Barry was highly touted as a high school athlete. I mean, at one point LSU was actually looking at him. Yep. And they kind of wanted him to play defensive back because of his speed. And he lucky for us, he chose Jackson State because he wanted to be a running back. And, with all the prowess of great running backs that have come through Jackson State with, the likes of Walter Payton, there was several. Walter, then there was, of course, his brother and Rodney Phillips and there was another guy that played at Jackson State at the running back position, and his son actually, his name is escaping me. I just saw him the other night.
Man, Sean, I
Played
can
in
go through the
Seattle.
list, man. Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
can
so
go
many,
through
but
the list.
I'm just, yeah, it's so
Jeffrey
many.
Moore,
that's the
Perry
historian.
Harrington. Yeah,
Perry more. That's what I was
yeah,
thinking about
Jeffrey
more.
Moore, Carl
Jeffrey Moore.
Blue, Larry Cowan.
Right.
Yeah, I can just keep going. Yeah.
Well, the reason I wanted to bring up Jeffrey, because his son played at Jim Hill too. His son
Okay.
played wide receiver at Jim Hill. So that's why I was trying to think of Jeffrey Moore's name. But yeah, but long story short, no, I didn't know a lot about Barry until kind of after my high school career.
Okay, cool beans. So, we're gonna fast forward to college. Charles mentioned to me this story, and I want you to elaborate more on it, because he said he couldn't really remember it, but he said that you came in as a walk-on and later became a scholarship winner. Can you give us more detail on that?
That's accurate.
How did that happen for you?
Well, it's crazy because I actually thought I was going to go to Alcorn. My mother's an Alcornite, and I had a scheduled visit to go to Alcorn, and they didn't show up for the visit. So I was like, I'm not going to Alcorn. That's it. I don't care what. I'm done with them. And so that I really attribute my landing at Jackson State on the football field to Yvette and Jerry Mitchell. They're in my neighborhood, our family friends, and I just would like to acknowledge, sadly enough, Mr. Mitchell, Jerry Mitchell, his uncle through my marriage, has just passed, and it's ironic that we're talking about that. But I can remember over the summer being over to their house because their son Jerry Mitchell and Jerry Mitchell Jr. were great friends, and they were asking me, what are you going to do? Are you going to play football? And I'm like, man, I don't know. And at that particular time, Coach Melvin Pete lived in the same neighborhood, which is Hemingway Circle.
Mm-hmm.
And at that particular time, she picked up the phone and said, look, go around there and talk to Pete. You need to be playing. We're going to make this happen. So no sooner than she got out the phone, I go around the corner and talk to Coach Pete. And he says, well, look, boy, his favorite word was cat. Oh, hell, cat, just come on out and start working out with us. So right out of high school, I got an opportunity to kind of work out with them. I wasn't on the team or anything that summer, and ended up meeting Coach Carson and kind of, I guess you would call it now as a gray shirt, a preferred walk-on type thing. And after the first semester, they put me on scholarship. The rest is history.
Awesome.
Wow.
You were supposed to be there, not in Lorman. No.
Yeah,
It was fake.
Everything
Yeah, it was
happened the way it's supposed to.
Exactly. So you mentioned Coach Carson, aka Big Daddy, and you were a part of that era where you guys were back-to-back SWAC champions in '95 and '96. As we were excited, as you are excited for our team being back-to-back SWAC champs now, how was that feeling for you to two-peat back then? And also, how does it feel to see this team do this 27 years later?
Well, we're back where we need to be. We're back to being the Jackson State that we've always been. It's been a long time coming. I'm extremely excited about what's going on at the university and what has been happening over the last few years. We're back to our dominating selves. When you look back at it and you take a step back and say, well, we did that back in '95 and '96. We were just trying to do our best imitation of those '80 teams.
Yeah.
Chuck could tell you that. I mean, when people talk about great football, it ain't just started at Jackson State. I mean, my coach, if people ask me this question and I say it without any hesitation, if you want to know, in my opinion, until this day, who's probably the best Jackson State football team to ever be, was my coach's team, Big Daddy's team.
62.
62.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the best
team.
That's probably the best team to ever be assembled at Jackson State football. Those guys played both sides of the football, and they were outstanding, and they were great academicians too. So, we all are following in those guys' footsteps. So, it's been a lot of tradition since then, and it's coming back around. So to be a part of it is outstanding. just wanting to live up to the hype, just wanted to continue the tradition. When you walk along the halls, you got guys like Marlo Perry, Fernando Smith, Lester Holmes, Antonius Kimbrough walking around there, and these guys played on Sunday. We wanted to be like those guys. We wanted to live up to their expectation. And Jackson State has always and will always be one of the premier teams of this conference until we go to another conference and achieve that same greatness.
I love it. I love it. Look, now you said your team, I think you said your team was the best under Big Daddy. Even with this team having a 12-0 and possibly 13-0 record, you still feel that way? I'm just wondering.
100%. 100%. These guys have done some great things. I have to be careful about my statements. I have to be careful about my statements. But I'll say it like this. The SWAC I played in the 90s wasn't the SWAC that was in the 80s.
True.
And the 80s weren't the SWAC that was, every time brings about change, and we get wiser, we get smarter and all of these things. But, I'm not going to hold my tongue when I say this. The SWAC in the 80s and the 70s was the SEC. People might not want to admit that, but the best athletes were playing in the SWAC in those eras.
That's true.
That's before integration, and we started to lose all our great athletes to bigger and brighter programs, to television deals, and all those other things that were going on in terms of getting athletes in the late 80s, early 90s, and that kind of thing. But if you look back and you look along those rosters all across the SWAC, and you compare those rosters to those guys in the NFL, you'll see a bunch of those names.
That's true.
So I mean, when I make that statement, that's where that comes from. That's where that comes from. You're talking about, we had 11, 12 guys drafted in 1 year. Late 60s, early 70s, whenever that happened. I can't tell you, but we had 11 guys drafted. We're probably one of the few FCS schools that's got 4 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, let's pivot to the day. Let's pivot to the day, Sean. I mean, today was a historic day when you take a look at T.C. Taylor being named the 22nd head coach of Jackson State University. And you and I, we've had this talk many times. I can't imagine what this meant for you today to see a Jackson State player, another person who has worn that block, JSU, take the helm of this team. But just what were your thoughts on today with regards to T.C. Taylor being named Jackson State's head coach?
Man, it's kind of hard. I'll try to put it in words. When I had an opportunity to look at the YouTube announcement, and having got a little word earlier that this was going to happen, to see it unfold and watch it and see the emotion, to see the excitement.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little more emotional in my older age, and
I think we all are.
It was very touching for me to see, to know TC at the level that I know him, to watch his matriculation from high school to coming into Jackson State, and he came in with his notoriety, and he lived up to it. He lived up to it. He came in with the name, and being one of the great players from South Pike, and he showed us that. And then showing his ability off the field as a coach and going through the ranks, coming up to the ranks and paying his dues, learning his game, and working on his craft, being patient, being humble, and waiting for the right opportunity. And now to see it come into fruition, that's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. I think there are a lot of people that have been excited about Jackson State football, but I think that number doubled today. I really think it did. If there was one thing that could bring our family together, it happened today, Chuck.
Yeah.
Understood. And when you take a look at it, I mean, it was hard not to get emotional, taking a look at the players, especially embracing them the way they did. Coach Prime giving him the stage, if you will, as if to pass the torch, if you will, to TC,
Right.
and for him to take that moment to kind of take it in. It was a very emotional scene there. When they introduced him to the team, so it was tremendous to look and see that, and it's going to be a fun ride, if you will, to kind of see where this team goes from here, because over the past 2 years, it has been a resetting, if you will, of Jackson State football. And that's been huge. That's been huge. You have to acknowledge that.
I would 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward, you have to be very excited, and you have to take the time out and be very thankful. To be thankful for what Coach Sanders has done for the university, for the football team, for the community. When you talk about leveling the playing field in HBCUs, that's one thing, but he's elevated the playing field for Jackson State University. Mm-hmm. So when you take in consideration, and I say elevated, I'm talking about with regards to us in this conference. So years ago, we were able to get large recruits because of who we were. Mm-hmm. We're that again. Mm-hmm. And you couple that with the fact that we have now probably the best facilities in our conference. Thanks to the efforts of and the hard work of the university and Coach Prime and what they've been able to do, with our locker rooms and with our football practice field, and it started a buzz. So, now we're still Jackson, but we've added that to our mystique. And, just some of the things that he's been able to do, and some of the things he's left in place, we're on TV now, thanks to him. The SWAC's on TV now. If I'm not mistaken, we got a 10-year deal with ESPN, something of that nature. So we're going to be on TV. We're going to continue to be the best team in this conference. And the guys just got to go out and work their butts off, and the coaches do the same with regard to having that same tenacity, and knocking on doors and calling and getting these players in here, looking in the portal and all those kinds of things to keep this thing going. I'm excited about it, and I think it's going to happen.
No doubt. Well, man, we got Celebration Bowl 7 coming up on us here this upcoming Saturday, and this is the fun part. We'll get to tap into your football acumen here a little bit here. Yeah. Where we kind of take a look at this North Carolina Central Eagle team coming into this game 9-2 versus our undefeated Jackson State Tigers. But when you sit back and take a look at this North Carolina Central team, what is it that you see that you can convey to this fan base here?
Well, their record speaks for itself. They won football games. They're a sound football team. They're no stranger to success in that conference. They played some worthy opponents, and it's going to be a test for us. It's going to be a test for us. We're supposed to be there. They know they're supposed to be there. They come in with the confidence of knowing that in their mind, a team lesser than them last year were able to get it done. So they probably feel the same way.
Sure. I mean, when you take a look at a dual threat quarterback like Davius Richard, who's one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the country, you're a defensive mind. What are some of the things you think Jackson State's defense needs to do to kind of contain this dynamic player?
Well, Jackson State's defense just got to be who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Do what they've done all year. Mm-hmm. We've done a great job of getting after the quarterback. We've done a great job of covering receivers down the field. We just have to eliminate the big plays, shore up our run defense, which I don't think is going to be an issue or a problem because we've done great in that facet all year. We've the number one defense. So I'm not worried. Yeah. I'm not worried about what 11 they tried out there. They can try what 11 they want to out there. It's not going to make that big of a difference for our defense because of the guys that we've assembled, because of the game plan that Coach Thurman comes up with, because of the tenacity that they play with. I'm not really concerned. But by no mistake now, make no mistake, I know that they're a worthy opponent. I'm not talking down to them at all. I'm just saying, if we do what we do, it should not be an issue. And of course, they're gonna take a look at some of the things that we do. They know that we play a lot of man-to-man. They know that we blitz to stop the run. They're gonna look for some holes there, but when you talk about adjustments and you talk about strategy from a defensive perspective in this conference, there's nobody better than our defense coordinator.
Sure.
I mean, you agree or disagree?
No, I completely agree, and I often say it. And Dennis Thurman, we trust. So you talked about this Jackson State defense comes in. They're the #1 ranked defense in the nation, and they are in the top 6, I believe, in stopping the run, and that is principle #1: stop the run, force the team to pass, and they get to pin their ears back and come after you. So you definitely hit the nail on the head in terms of the defensive game plan. Offensively, Jackson.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off. I did have one more little tidbit. I know that they're going to be looking at when Southern made the quarterback change, and they were able to do some things with their quarterback. And this guy being a dual threat, he's probably going to look to run a little more. Yeah, but that's something that they'll address. That's something that they'll address. They know that he has a capability of doing that, and I'm sure that they'll come up with schemes to box a quarterback. I know that they'll do that, and what they're going to do is in the word of Coach Hughes, Coach Judge, pain is a universal language, and they're gonna put some pain on them and see how they respond.
No doubt. When we take a look at the offensive side of the ball, Jackson State comes into this game, they're averaging 38 points per game. Coach Brett Bartolone, he has diversified this offense from last year. They have balance, if you will. Sabian Wilkerson is a running back who can run it in between the tackles, bounce it outside. He even catches the ball out of the backfield. But from an offensive standpoint, what do you think Jackson State has to do to get this W?
I think Jackson State has to be patient offensively. I think we have to take what they give them. Not try to go for the home run play right off the bat. And like you said, we were balanced, but I would like to see them to establish that running game first and let it open up the passing game. And take what they give us. And when we have those plays downfield, make them, but we don't have to force it. Don't need to force it. And be smart with the football.
Sure.
Be smart with the football. Let's control it. Let's not put it on the ground. Let's not let penalties hurt us. Killing our drives with needless false starts and offsides. And, there's going to be some penalties in the game. That's part of the game. Those physical hustle plays, I get a holding here, but it's those mental breakdowns that we don't need. We don't need a legal formation. We don't need an offsides. We don't need a legal procedure or a legal shift. Those kinds of things that set the down markers back and make those long, 3rd and long situations. If we can avoid that, we don't have no problem putting points on the board. But the next biggest thing is get a good start. Come out on a good start. Don't start sluggish like we have done sometimes.
X factor question. 5 out of these 6 Celebration Bowls, the MEAC has been a victor. Do you think it is any sort of an advantage that they more or less have a month off to prepare for the SWAC team?
I don't think so. From a scheme standpoint, maybe. With the coaches getting a little more time to prepare, but any player will tell you would rather do it this way, and instead of waiting a month and being rusty and not having tackled anybody, not having ran around against anybody. It gets old practicing against your teammates. That's controlled. You want to have the feel of the game, and sometimes when you sit out for a while, it takes a quarter or two before you get back used to playing the game again. So sitting all the time is not good. Just like you'll notice a lot of times in sports competitions, those teams that are hot are the ones that are playing. You'll see a low seed team that had to play in the tournament 3 or 4 games that their game is they're already rolling and they're good. Opposed, they catch a team that's been sitting down and hadn't played for a minute. Just like a wild card team will go to the Super Bowl and win it because they're hot. So I don't think that the time off is going to be that much more beneficial to them. I think it'll be more of a slow start for them if we come out crisp doing what we need to do.
No doubt.
Sean, let me ask you this. Do you think because of the loss that JSU had against South Carolina last year, do you feel like JSU has a chip on their shoulder? They got to prove something?
Without question, I wouldn't say it's just a necessary chip on their shoulder. It's just wanting to complete the mission.
Okay.
They set a goal. They set a goal for themselves last year, and they fell short. So it's like Aubrey Miller said, he came back to complete that goal, to finish that. So
Right.
it's not a chip. They're a little disappointed and upset because they didn't get it done.
Mhm.
And they plan on getting it done this time. So
Oh.
everything moving forward, they just took one game at a time. And each week we marked an X through that one. We did that one. Now we're on to this one. And now we're where we wanted to be, is right back in this game so we can finish what we started. We want to complete the mission, and it won't be complete until the clock goes 0 and we're on top.
And 13-0. I'm excited. I'm ready. I'll be there. Sean, are you going to the game?
Yeah, I'll be there. I will be there. I
Okay.
wouldn't miss it. I don't want to miss history. It's going to be a great
It's gonna
atmosphere.
you're right. It is definitely
It's
going to be.
it's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
Standing room only.
Yeah, standing room. Well, Sean, before I let you go, I have a game that we play, and it's called You Can Get With This or You Can Get With That. And what that is, it's easy. What that is, it's a way for the listeners and myself to get to know the guests better. I'll ask you a few questions, and you choose the one that best fits you. And Charles, you can play along too.
Why not?
Okay. And I'm gonna start off easy. What's your favorite, Walmart or Target?
Walmart.
I'm a Target guy.
He bougie.
Why is that? He's real bougie because Starbucks is in there. I'm a Walmart. I already know him. What's your favorite, Char or Johnny T's?
I'm
I
still
love
saying
them
both.
both.
I'm still saying both.
They're both my favorites. So, okay, so like Johnny T's, they have this salmon and this rice, and he already know with this tarragon sauce that I love.
Mhm.
It is so delicious. So that's my favorite there. Whereas Johnny T's, Char is so many different, and all of Johnny T's food is good, but Char has so many different ones that I like. It's hard to,
Well,
but I'm gonna go with Johnny T's.
If we're just talking food, I'm going Char. But if we're talking the whole enchilada, I'm going Johnny T's. The vibe, the atmosphere, the potential of what can, I'm going Johnny T's. Live music.
What can happen?
I just said that potential. What can happen? It might be a good one, an epic night there.
I love it.
For the epicness of it, Johnny T.
You know what? This is going to be one of the snippets for sure. Would you rather, this is funny, would you rather spend an hour in a walk-in freezer or 2 hours in a sauna?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because I'm old. Sometimes I need to be in a walk-in freezer. I got bad, I could use it. I'm going to go to sauna.
Sauna, okay. Charles?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna sit in the sauna and sweat it out. Love it.
I think I would do the sauna as well. 2 hours is kind of long though, but I'll do the sauna. Would you prefer being the richest person alive or the smartest person alive? Who uses big words all the time? But go ahead, Sean.
Not to sound shallow, but I'm gonna go with the richest person.
It's okay to be shallow.
I'm gonna go with it. I can buy some smart people.
A rich, shallow person. Yeah, it's okay.
Charles, I already know what you're gonna pick.
Yes, I will be the rich, shallow person. I have no problem doing that.
Oh,
being
good.
that person.
I would rather be the smartest person because if I'm the smartest person, I'll get rich. That's easy.
Let me tell you this.
No,
my fifth grade teacher, Miss Leela Starling, she said you never want to be the smartest person in the room all the time. I never forgot that.
You never do.
Always
she's
are kind of the
she's
smartest.
very correct.
But Sean, he's always kind of the smartest in the room.
No.
So, you didn't follow her instructions, buddy.
Whatever.
Let's see. Live with the person you least like in the world, or live alone.
Live alone.
Solitude is gratitude.
Live
Sean,
alone.
what did you say? Live alone?
Live alone.
Yeah, same here. Be Spider-Man or Batman? And why?
Wow. I'm going Batman.
Why?
Because he has all those nice tools. He has all the equipment. I mean, he has all the cool kid stuff. I'm going Batman. You know, I tell you what, it's something, you know, when you get old and you can't do what you used to do, it's gonna be hard to be slinging that web from one building to another. But all I gotta do is get in and out of the Batmobile, the Batboat, on my plane. You know,
I'm not touching
my
you slinging a web.
my utility belt never gets old. My utility belt never gets old. I can always upgrade.
Hilarious. Charles, you?
Oh, Bruce Wayne, easily. I want to be Batman. I get to be a crime fighter at night and a millionaire playboy during the day. Love it.
Both great reasons. Would you prefer skydiving or bungee jumping?
I'm going skydiving.
Charles?
Yeah, I've done the skydive, but definitely skydiving.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do either, but if I had to, it'd be skydiving. Be able to see the future or change the future.
It was kind of the same. Well, I guess it's not the same, but seeing the future wouldn't be fun. I'm going with change the future.
Charles?
Yeah, definitely be a change agent. Definitely be a change agent. Yeah.
Who is your favorite actress out of the two? Lynn Whitfield or Felicia Rashad?
I'm going with Thundercat. I'm going with Lynn Whitfield.
Yeah. I definitely think Mrs. Huxtable was the template for many future wife back when we was in college. So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely got to go with Claire Hanks Huxtable.
Claire Hanks? That's a tough one for me, but I'm gonna go with Felicia as well. Felicia. Last but not least, Remember the Titans or Rudy?
Remember the Titans. Easy.
Charles?
Definitely Remember the Titans. Best football movie ever.
I almost put The Program, but I didn't know if y'all would remember that. Remember the
Oh,
program?
yeah,
I remember it.
I remember the program.
So who, between Remember the Titans or The Program? Still Remember the Titans?
Still gonna remember Titans.
Yeah.
That thing's more about is more about changing lives and people's way of thinking than it is football.
Yeah.
It puts football in perspective. Football is what unified people. So I'm going with that. I got to give a little backdrop. I knew you guys were going to choose Felicia Rashad. I wanted to be different, of course. I mean, everybody's going to choose Miss Huxtable. Are you crazy? You serious?
Yeah. And you went with Thundercat. We got it.
I had to go with Thundercat just to switch it up a little bit. You know, like when you pitch a team, everybody pick a winner. Everybody picks the same team. Somebody's got to go against the grain sometimes.
And that's true. And I like both of them. When I was doing it, I was like, ooh, that's because I love her. I mean, Lynn Whitfield, Josephine Baker.
Eve's Bayou.
Huh?
Eve's Bayou.
Eve's Bayou, of course.
Eve's Bayou.
What,
Love between what is it? Love and Hate. Thin line between Love and Hate.
Correct.
Greenleaf. I don't know if y'all watched that series that she was in, but she, you know, she's an excellent actress. Yeah.
Well,
so couldn't go wrong either way.
The little Thundercat line came from the late great Bernie Mac. That's what he called her in Head of State.
Sure did. Sure did.
I knew right where you were going when you said it.
So what's going on, Thundercat? Thriller?
I couldn't remember, but I remember. Okay, he sure did.
He said, "What's going on, Thriller?"
That was a funny movie. That was funny. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you coming on, and you guys be safe going to the A. I'll see you there possibly, hopefully. If not, you know, let's just cheer our team on to this 13-0 victory.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
Me too. All right.
And,
thanks for having me on.
Right. Charles, tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media.
Oh, no doubt. You can follow me via Facebook, Instagram, and of course, you can find me on the pregame show page. Of course, on Dr. Cabil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Pregame show, we go live on Wednesdays as well. You see content coming out during the week. Shout out to my guy, Neely. And then normally we get another show in before Jackson State football, so looking forward to it.
Okay. And guys, you can follow me at She Say Sports on Facebook, She Say Sports 23 on Instagram, at She Say 23 on Twitter, and please subscribe to our YouTube page, She Say Sports. Well, until next time, this is Sonia, Charles, and Sean with She Say Sports. Bye.
Bye.